A corolla is an ancient headdress made of a garland, a wreath, and worn as a small circlet, a crown. Usually it has ceremonial significance and represents victory or authority. History. The term Corolla and/or Corolla appears in a chapter title in Pliny the Elder's Naturalis Historia, who invented the art of making garlands, when they first received the name of Corollae, and for what reason. The term was used to describe a crown made from branches and twigs of trees worn by victors in sacred contests. Later, flowers, colors and smells were used to heighten the effect. Closing parenthesis. Glycera challenged Pausias to a contest where she would repeatedly vary her designs, and thus it was, in reality, a contest between art and nature. This invention is traced only to later than the 100th Olympiad via Pausias' paintings. These chaplets of flowers became fashionable and evolved into the Egyptian chaplets using ivy, narcissus, pomegranate blossoms. According to Pliny, p. Claudius Pulcher introduced winter corollae, made for the time at which flowers and plant matter were not available, of thin laminae of horn stained various colors. Slowly, the name was introduced at Rome, these garlands being known there at first as corollae, a name Pliny says was given them to express the remarkable delicacy of the texture. Later, these headdresses were made of thin plates of copper, gilt or silvered, and were called corollaria, as introduced by Crassus Dives as a way to confer greater honor when receiving them. In Chapter 5 of Naturalis Historia, titled The Great Honor in which chaplets were held by the ancients, Pliny explains how these headdresses were perceived. Chaplets, however, were always held in a high degree of estimation, those even which were acquired at the public games, for it was the usage of the citizens to go down in person to take part in the contests of the circus, and to send the slaves and horses thither as well. Hence it is that we find it thus written in the laws of the 12 Tables: if any person has gained a chaplet himself, or by his money, let the same be given to him as the reward of his prowess. There is no doubt that by the words gained by his money, the laws meant a chaplet which had been gained by his slaves or horses. Well then, what was the honor acquired thereby? It was the right secured by the victor, for himself and for his parents, after death, to be crowned without fail, while the body was laid out in the house, and on its being carried to the tomb. Pliny continues the explanation to describe the severity in which the rules of the wearing of the chaplets were enforced by the ancients. L. Fulvius, a banker, having been accused, at the time of the Second Punic War, of looking down from the balcony of his house upon the Forum, with a chaplet of roses upon his head, was imprisoned by order of the Senate, and was not liberated before the war was brought to a close. P. Munatius, having placed upon his head a chaplet of flowers taken from the statue of Marsyas, was condemned by the triumvirate to be put in chains. Upon his making appeal to the tribunes of the people, they refused to intercede in his behalf. The daughter of the late Emperor Augustus, who, in her nocturnal debaucheries, placed a chaplet on the statue of Marsyas, conduct deeply deplored in the letters of that god. Emperor Augustus's daughter Julia placed a corolla on the head of a statue, and she was exiled for breaching morality laws. Examples.